Vision.
This year records the highest number of registered attendees for WIMBIZ, virtually and physically. A round of applause, please. And it takes a lot to put this together, because I witnessed a part of it last night, being here with the amazing women making this happen. Please, with a resounding round of applause, help me invite the Chair, Program and Membership Committee for the welcome address, Binta Max Banerjee. Please, a round of applause, please.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and the gentlemen in the room. It's with great pleasure that I heartily welcome you all to this 21st Annual Conference of Women in Management, Business and Public Service, WIMBIZ. I'm honored to particularly salute and celebrate our conference chairperson, Mrs. Osareti Demurin, the president and founder of the Salis Demurin Foundation, a woman of many firsts and a lighthouse who was the first female chairman of Guarantee Trust Bank, as well as the first female director. Yes, please put your hands together for her. That's no small achievement. She was the first female director of the Central Bank of Nigeria as well. Another opportunity to clap there. She graciously accepted to be our chair for this conference and will steer us right over these 2 days. Please celebrate Mrs. Osareti Demurin and welcome, ma'am. So honored to have you in the house. It's also my pleasure to welcome our prestigious keynote speaker, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The award-winning author and speaker who just a few weeks ago on the 6th of October was awarded the W.E. Du Bois Medal of the prestigious Harvard University, the university's highest honor in the field of African American studies, another feather to her already heavily laden cap. Huge congratulations to Ms. Adichie, and thank you for shooting out the light to showcase Nigeria to the world repeatedly. We're truly honored to have her with us for the very first time at WIMBIZ this year. I warmly welcome and celebrate the inspiring 13, as I refer to the founders, who started this transformative organization 2 decades ago and on whose shoulders we stand. Thank you, our founders, for this legacy that remains. And as I always say, for sending the elevator back for the rest of us. Please give them another round of applause. They deserve it. A warm welcome and our profuse thank you as well to our eclectic lineup of intellectual and inspiring speakers and panelists who are all experts in their respective fields and who have come to share with us from their wealth of experience in conversations we believe will be kept real and totally authentic. The list of speakers was carefully curated to ensure diversity and thought leadership across various demographics and geographies to deliver not just a local but a global worldview. So be assured that you're about to enjoy a most value-adding conference. Time will fail me to talk about all of them here, so permit me to crave your indulgence and refer you to our excellent and interactive WIMBIZ app, where you will find the inspiring bios and much more. Women in Management, Business and Public Service, WIMBIZ, is a non-profit organization formed in 2001 to be a platform for professional women to learn, to interact, and learn how to thrive in their different careers and or in the businesses that they run. Over the last 21 years, we have remained resolute and committed to our mission of being the catalyst that elevates the profile of women. And to this end, we have vigorously focused on the 4 pillars of WIMBIZ, which are inspire, empower, advocate, and connect. WIMBIZ now has a dynamic associate pool of 1,554 accomplished women in management, business, and public service. And at this point, I must also pause to welcome our new associates, many of who are at WIMBIZ conference for the very first time. This year, we inducted the highest number ever of associates to the organization, or sisterhood, as I like to call it, adding 383 ladies to the associate database, the highest ever. And there are many of them who are in the room, at their very first Wimby's annual conference, while others are with us online. Can I see by a show of hands anyone who's an inductee or an associate this year, 2022 associate? Look at that number. Put your hands together for them. And is there anyone who is here at Wimby's for the very first time? This is your first annual. Oh my word, look at the room. Welcome, welcome. Please give them a virtual high five. I'm a hugger myself, and I would have said hug them, but let's just do the high five. Wimby's also strategically collaborates with domestic and international organizations to deliver programs and initiatives which have influenced hundreds of thousands and continues to do so, this annual conference being one of them. It's our flagship event. It holds in November of every year, and this year's edition is being delivered as a hybrid conference. We believe that before the end of today, we will have over 2,000 women in the room. You missed an opportunity to put your hands together right there. But we've also got close to 600 virtual delegates online at the moment. 600. Yes, absolutely. And for physical registration, we've got 2,300 people who have registered to be with us over the course of these 2 days. We're really glad that we're able to expand our reach to people outside of Nigeria and who are in Nigeria but can't make it here physically. Our conference theme is Firing Forward, the Future in Focus. We have come a long way over the last 21 years in fulfilling the founder's mission of being a catalyst. But we have further to go. And it's the aim of this conference to help provide us with a blueprint for the future that is ahead. One bright with promise and one that we must focus on with laser vision to ensure it turns out to be as beautiful as we want it to be. When we do the homework, we put in our 10,000 steps and get ready to soar. We have shining examples to take a cue from, as this year alone, women in Nigeria and all around the world have achieved giant strides in various sectors and have told us in unequivocal terms, if we think we can, we can. In favor of Philly's words at the Commonwealth Games, the difference is we now believe in ourselves. We believe we can compete with the rest of the world. Compete they have, and win they did. Favor Ofili broke the record to set a new one, making her the first Nigerian female in the 200 meters race and making her the fastest ever in the NCAA with a new school record to boot. Absolutely, let's celebrate them. Super Falcon striker Asisat Oshoala has been crowned the 2022 CAF Women's Player of the Year. With this win, she becomes the first player in history to win 5 African Player of the Year awards. She deserves that award. Blessing Aina, popularly known as Iron Abbey, won the World Boxing Foundation International Super Bantamweight title belt in London in February of 2022, becoming the first Nigerian and African female to achieve the feat. Toby Amusan is the current world, Commonwealth, and African champion in the 100-meter hurdles. And I remember the goosebumps, and I'm embarrassed to admit the many tears that rolled down my eyes when she won back-to-back at the Commonwealth Games. And my sense of great pride when she was on the podium with that gold medal around her neck and the Nigerian national anthem was sung. It was such an excellent moment. Oh, what a moment that was. I'll never forget it. Other athletes who we term the Golden Girls made us very proud as well, and Wimby's has rightly decided to celebrate them, as we will during this conference, because they certainly deserve to be applauded for bringing glory to Nigeria. Our young women are not left out. Oluwaseyi Adewumi broke a 59-year academic record to graduate as the overall best student ever at the University of Lagos. She deserves to be applauded. Faith Odunsi is just 15 years old, but she recently represented Nigeria at the Global Mathematics Competition and beat other world champions to become the world's best mathematics student, earning her the name Calculator. On the international scene, Ketanji Brown Jackson was nominated to the highest court of the land in the United States and sits there today as the first black woman in the nation's Supreme Court. Xiomara Castro, a 62-year-old democratic socialist, became the first female president of Honduras this year after voters had earlier elected her in an election which she convincingly won with a landslide. Justice Ayesha Malik became Pakistan's first female Supreme Court judge this year. The list goes on, but will not be complete if I fail to again mention our keynote speaker, the global award-winning Nigerian writer, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Did you catch that I said, they say success has many fathers, right? And you know when you go abroad and they say, oh, you're Nigerian, you know Chimamanda? I'm like, oh, yeah, she's my sister. We are sisters. And after all, like the title of one of her books says, we should all be feminists, right? Yes, we have made strides in various areas, but it is not yet utopia. The one area I am sure most of us will definitely have wanted to see greater impact and a remarkable improvement in will be in the political arena of our dear country, Nigeria. It will certainly be heartwarming to see more women in governance and more women in seats of power within the political landscape. The increasing number of women who are vying for political offices, however, encouraging and definitely better than in years gone by. But like Oliver Twist, I personally want more. The statistics are clear and the empirical evidence abounds. A country does far better in achieving its potential when there are competent women at the table. Yes, competence, emphasis on competent, okay? Competent women at the table. The McKinsey report has confirmed organizations do better when they have more women in management or at the helm of affairs. We saw countries governed by women do far better during the fight against the COVID pandemic, you'll remember. And there are other examples that abound. The conclusion is this, and the jury is in. More women must be given the opportunity to put themselves forward, to put their best selves forward, and to add value in all sectors and in all areas, as our economies, our nations, nay, even our world depends on it. And that's why we celebrate and salute the courageous Wimbi's women, led by our indomitable Mrs. Adiola Aziz, who have put themselves forward as candidates in this race, who we're all rooting for and we're aiming for their good success. We were at a program last week in Abuja, and it was a program sponsored by the UN Women and the Canadian government. And one of the things I took away from there was someone saying, our party is the women's party. And someone said, it doesn't matter what party that person represents. If the candidate on the ballot is a woman, I'm voting that person. I just thought to mention that. To the Wimbi's executive councils over the years and the chairpersons who have led them, chairs 1 to 4 as we call them. Chair 1, Osaya Lili. Chair 2, Aisha Ahmad. Chair 3, Bumi Abodari Talabi, who looks gorgeous in this orange, is just calling my name. And Chair 4, Ngove Ihembe Nwankwo. Thank you. The conference planning group of this year's conference were a joy to work with, and I especially appreciate the women and 2 courageous men who I must mention by name, Temitope Balogun and Tunde Phillips. True he for she's whose male perspective gave color to the planning. Folusho Badamosi, the energetic FG, is the deputy chair for this conference planning, and as usual, she made invaluable inputs and contributions. Thank you, FG. You're a brown-skinned girl that rocks. The chairs of the committees and their formidable team members all deserve a special commendation. I mean, when we started, we were wondering, how are we going to do this? A month ago, or thereabouts, we were just under 1,000 registrations. Some people went on the mountain, as in literally fasting and praying. We walked the phones, we got the database of the associates. I sat down and called people on that number, and here we are today, the highest ever. 2,300 are in the room. This committee chairs deserve a special mention. Molade Adeniyi, Nkiru Ogwadima, Yemisi Peters, Haneto Adegboyega, Dolapo Olasanusi, Aniwura Omolayo, and Isabella Adedeji. Eshegon, Dalu, Mungo de Sosei. As you may be aware, Wimbi's has been in a transition. This has been handled, so I'll just skip that. This was written before this morning's handover. And a huge congratulations to our new BOT. Please celebrate each and every one of them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're rooting for you and we wish you all the very best. In the course of the transition committee, Ms. Olawaye has done that, so I won't bore you with this that I had penned down. But I'll just want to thank Ms. Olawaye herself, who has been a remarkable sounding board and an amazing listener. Every time you call her, she will listen so, patiently. I'll whine and go on. And never once did she say to me, would you shut up and get off this phone? But she'll listen, she'll give constructive criticism, and she will give great advice. Thank you, Ms. Olawaye. Thank you so much. Thank you. She has thanked them, but I have to thank them again because I had the privilege of working with them. Ms. Cecilia Akintomide, the amiable CA, I had the privilege of sitting under her. She was my mentor in the first cohort of the WIM board, where she does an amazing job. Mrs. Okunyemi, Special K as we call her, chair of the WIMPO committee. Ms. Ronke Onodekwa, very fiery advocacy chair. Mrs. Ijoma Taylor, our finance guru. Where is Ijoma? I need to give you the eye. She tightly held on to the strings of the money bag and will make us jump hoops to get her to sign off anything. But we're better for it. Thank you, IJT. Mrs. Bisi Adeyemi, the grand norm and governance expert. And of course, Mrs. Awuneba Jumogobia, the audit chair, who I have the privilege to share a birthday with. 23rd May babies rock. We do. To our sponsors and covenant partners, all who have given to this worthy cause in some form or the other over the years, we most certainly could not have done this without you. And from a heart of gratitude, we say thank you. To our media partners who helped amplify our voices and our messages, thank you. The biggest thank you is for the dynamic and hardworking WIMBIS headquarters team, led by the indefatigable, yes, Ms. Alaya, that's the only word I can think of for Hansetu. I don't know how she does it. Hansetu Adegbite is also known as the elasticity of tenacity. We thank them for being the engine room. Everyone on staff, I won't bore you, but I'll mention especially Mr. Latif, the pilot. He's the driver, so we call him the pilot. Your teamwork made the dream work. Thank you, everyone at the WIMBIS HQ. It was a true privilege to have served again as this year's chair of the Program and Membership Committee and as chair of this conference planning group. I'm grateful to God for his grace and help, and to my three yellow men, as I call them, my husband, Reverend Max, my sons, Tega and Tejiri, who remain the wind beneath my wings and who encourage me to do all things WIMBIS because they know how much I love this sisterhood. Thank you too to all our phenomenal associates without whom there will be no WIMBIS. And thank you to everyone who's a part of this conference in some way or the other. I will wax a bit philosophical as I end this address with a reminder to us of the Zulu philosophy of Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. Our allegiance and relations with each other impacts on one another. It makes us who we are, and we must therefore keep the love going and look out for one another in this world. Let the essential human values of compassion and kindness, which is an underrated superpower, become second nature to us, as the world is already a cold place, and love surely makes it a better one. Reach out and touch one. Lend a hand, and if you can, please help the victims of the flooding in Nigeria in any way that you can to ease their distress and be our neighbor's keeper, because it is the right and humane thing to do. A further charge to us all is to band together as the WIMBIS family, every chance we get to do good, as we remember the other relevant Swahili maxim of Tunaweza, which means together we win. We win without compromise. And as we stand stronger with a unified front, we will win in all areas, be it political, business, social development, at all. An African proverb says, to go fast, go alone. To go further, take others along with you. I urge us, ladies, let's win together. And as we fire forward into the future, let's go further together. I welcome you once again to this conference and urge you to strap in for an exciting 2 days for an inspiring and impactful and transformative conference. Thank you for being here. Please celebrate our wonderful anchors, the beautiful Olive Emadi. Put your hands together for her. And the Saro who is in the building.